Welcome to the MBL Rookie Draft. Today we'll see teams select franchise players who will forever change the culture of the team. Welcome to the MBL Rookie Draft. Today we'll see teams select franchise players who will forever change the culture of the team while having immediate success. While some teams will weigh risk versus reward, banking on a player's potential to develop. Some players will go on to be champions, Hall of Famers. Even though they were drafted in later rounds, their success won't be denied. You are witnessing the leader in full immersion gaming, the Madden Bomber League. So join our journey today. Go to 365.maddenbomberleague.com and take your chance to become a legend and forever be remembered like Lucky Jordan, Asa Sharar, because legends never die. And you're watching the MBL Network.
And what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the MBL Season 32 Rookie Draft, the final rookie draft of the Madden 18 cycle. I'm your host, OSU, and joining me tonight is the co-commissioner of the MBL, Lip, and Sonny Weaver. He doesn't get a title. I didn't feel like it. Sorry, Sonny. Creative something. A great show tonight, folks. If you've never joined us for one of our MBL rookie drafts, this is a fun show. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the league. We're gonna give you guys our opinions. A lot of hot topics right now, folks, because we are heading into EA Play. I literally fly out tomorrow, so at Madden 19 just around the corner. As always, folks, please in the chat post your questions, whether it's MBL related, whether it's Madden related, whether it's Taco Bell related. We all know that that's going to come up at some point. Just post your questions. Hey. We all know that that's what everybody wants to hear, but we'll get this draft rolling. We'll get everything going on. Lip, exciting night tonight. The final. I can't believe we're already at the final rookie draft of Madden 18. Feels like just yesterday I was picking the Oakland Raiders and then watching my doom as Gub came to my division.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been actually, this might be my favorite cycle because of the fact that we've had 6 different champions so far. I never imagined that whenever we had team selection back last August. I think that the AFC looked pretty stacked, and I thought that they would go a completely different way. It actually turned out that the NFC has been kicking the AFC's butt all year, except for the Steelers and the Browns. But it's just been a surprising cycle. We've seen the game change quite a bit. But we're on to the next one.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're heading into Madden 19, Sonny Weaver, EA Play, literally around the corner like tomorrow. We're looking forward to Madden 19, but we got one more season of Madden 18. Does your approach change at all going into this draft, knowing that this is the last season of the cycle?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I was thinking about that actually coming in tonight. You know, you're looking at players, and there's certain positions obviously that take a little longer to develop than others, and I think there's some that can have an immediate impact tonight. You know, historically, running backs, for instance, have not been a position that go highly in the draft. However, that is a position that a starter can come in immediately and have some effect on their team. And so I think we're going to see some running backs go. I think there's a nice deep wide receiver position tonight, and I think we're going to see a pretty good amount of those as well.
We can go ahead and get this draft rolling. I think it's Bomber. Hit that on pause button. Let's get going again, folks. We'll be on with you till about 9:45, 10 o'clock. Depends on how everything gets rolling, but no time frame here. We're just going to keep rolling on as long as we have things to talk about. Lip, I want to start off with who's at the top of the draft right now. And it has been interesting. If you look at the top 7 picks right now, Niners, Dolphins, Eagles, Rams, Panthers, Cardinals, and Bucks. It's pretty much been some conglomeration of 6 of those teams. The only exception being that San Francisco 49ers team made a real nice run in the NFC West 2 seasons ago. I was talking with Bomber the other day about the San Francisco 49ers, actually, and he came up with the conclusion that year that the 49ers actually won the division, went to the playoffs, they actually weren't that good that year because of the quarterback play, and it has been proven, I guess, continually right because the 49ers can't get off the top of this draft board.
Yeah, and I feel, I don't know what my feelings are about this because 2 seasons ago, that 49ers team was pretty unbelievable at 11-5, and since then, they've only managed to win 3 games. It's unbelievable to me because they had they built their team so well. They built their offense around wide receivers, and then they brought in a quarterback. And I really thought that that was the formula for success in San Francisco. But it turns out that was completely wrong. We talked about it on Commish Corner at least 2 or 3 times. And then all of a sudden, they had this great year. Some things happened, and they've only won 3 games since. It's just an unbelievable storyline to me, and frankly, one that just completely surprised me.
Well, and Sonny, when I was talking with Bomber, who is not here to defend himself, so that's why I'm just going to continue to make claims. I could be making all this up, but when I was talking with him, we were talking about Arsenio Sapp and how good he was. But even in that year, that 2020 season, his numbers, 2,800 yards, 63% completion percentage, 20 touchdowns, 29 interceptions. The interesting part about that season, Sonny, was when Arsenio Sapp went out with an injury, the 49ers actually had their best stretch of games. Arsenio Sapp comes back, they finish actually horribly. They ended up losing a bunch of their last games, falling to 10-6 and losing the first round of the playoffs. The question is Arsenio Sapp any good, or is this just a mirage for a small piece of time in that 2020 season?
Well, I think it was a little bit of a mirage, and when you start looking at that team in that season, you see that there were some scheduling things there that helped them out. There were some weaker opponents on the schedule that year, and some things broke their way. There were some turnovers. I believe that was year Kareem Hunt actually went off a couple times and had some big games, and really you look at that year. We talked about it on Highly Debatable. I think that we were kind of calling it. We thought they were trending that direction. Then they had that breakout year, and then it just, the wheels fell off. And I think really what it comes down to is they need a strong running game there. They need to establish a run in San Francisco and then kind of dink and dunk off that running attack. And I think that's the problem is ownership out there just, sometimes they want to air it out, and they probably aren't equipped to do that.
Yeah, we're waiting on the 49ers to make that first pick. Odds that October has fallen asleep at the controller.
No,
he woke up.
Not. He is not, is my prediction.
He woke up. Going right outside linebacker, 1 overall. A reminder to everybody in the chat who is in the MBL participating in this draft to when you make your picks, take that screenshot on the Xbox, email it to us, mattandbomberleague@gmail.com. We'll be showcasing some of the best players that we see.
That one right there is one I want to see. That one right there. He was really the only 3-4 outside linebacker that had, high upside, it looked like, the only projected first overall. And he goes number 1, and I think he's going to be a superstar.
Dolphins going wide receiver at 2. The Miami Dolphins, an interesting team, a team that has struggled offensively. Sonny, is this a team that needs offensive weapons? Is this a team that needs defense? Is this a team that needs Jesus? What do the Dolphins need to get out of this top 5 pick?
Well, I think you're right. They do need Jesus right now because
Jesus
that's probably their only real chance at having a big year. But you look at what this team did in free agency, and I felt kind of good about it. They got a steal. I think they got who was the outside linebacker, the big one, Jernigan, or that was his name, right?
Yep. I would say yes to any name you gave, by the way.
Oh, maybe he didn't get Jernigan. I thought he was on that guy.
It was Nick Swardson.
Nick Swardson. I don't
that was
think
his
so.
name.
Great comedian.
Sonny was so disappointed
also
by that
kicker
answer.
for the Lions.
Yeah.
Jason
but this Dolphins team, wide receivers, that position I told you coming into the draft that I think you actually got a chance to do something with in year 1. Linemen are those positions that they take some time to develop. I'm not real sure linemen are going to go in this draft, and normally we actually see a decent run around the middle of the round.
Well, the Rams went lineman at number 4, so Sonny, shut your mouth. We're going lineman early. All
right, hold on. Let me weigh in on these first 2 picks.
Sure.
The 49ers were 30th in points, 25th in total yards. They took a right outside linebacker. Love the pick. The Dolphins were 31st in points on offense and 30th in yards. Take a wide receiver with the first pick. These teams know what they need to do. They need to fix those 2 areas of their team, and that's what they tried to do in the draft. So I support it. I'm all on. I'm with it.
I'm actually looking at what the Eagles did at number 3. They go cornerback. It's not a particularly deep cornerback draft, but the Eagles go corner at number 3. And I've been begging the Eagles to just focus on the defense. We know the problems they have at quarterback. Mostly it's a turnover issue. So they need a defense that can actually do something, can actually find a way to get some stops and keep the Eagles in games. And they pick a cornerback here last season of the cycle. I think the skill positions are a very effective place to pick, as, by the way, the Panthers go offensive lineman, so Sonny, continue to shut your mouth. I love the pick of going corner for the Eagles, a defense that was 21st in giving up passing yards, an opportunity to shore up that pass defense and maybe get some additional turnovers.
Yeah, and the big thing is here, we always talk about playing to win your division. First off, you can't think about winning championships if you can't win your division. And look at who is taking that division every year. It's led by Davis Webb. And last year he had 37 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 117. That's pretty impressive. So I think the Eagles are on the right track. Get away from the offensive drafting, draft on defense to try to stop the powerhouse in your division. And that's where you really start to make a run. I don't know if it'll be able to happen this year, and then it's the end of the cycle, but they're on the right track if you know, for practicing for next cycle, I would say.
Can we talk about the Eagles real quick, though, about the elephant in the room with that pick? How many times have we asked Deca to take a player that's going to be CPU controlled and he's not going to be able to screw up?
Many. I've been begging for it.
And he finally does at the very end of the cycle.
Just in time, folks. Cringe in the chat. By the way, it's big shout out to MBM with his 2 months of subscribing. Cringe in the chat asked a question. I'll pose this to Sonny first. What free agent signing do you think was the most impactful? Which one of the free agent signings that came in did you go, all right, I see what you're doing?
Well, I think it was 2 signings, and it was the New York Jets signing Mike Evans and DeAndre Hopkins. We see what he's doing. He's trying to get some targets to throw to up in New York, and I think that could work out well for him. It's 2 guys that aged a little bit throughout the cycle, but they're both really still pretty good. So I think that's kind of a dangerous combination up there in New York.
Lip, you see anybody good in free agency? What were your takeaways from the 4 days of free agency we had here in the MBL?
I think that's right. Those 2 wide receivers going to the Jets, that Jets team's not bad. And they confused me a lot with going 8-8 last season. I thought they had a great offense. The defense is in the 30s and everything. Not really, but it seems like it. So I'm not sure that they spent their money in the right place, but if they can outscore everybody, they're not going to have to worry about defense. So I think that that's right along the lines of the best free agency to me, because that's the way they play. They play high-octane offense all the time, no defense. So bringing in those 2 wide receivers, that's a big move for the Jets.
It's a big move for the Jets. The other one I'm going to go with, maybe a little under the radar, but I think I see a lot of potential in it, is the Baltimore Ravens getting Rashard Swann over from the 49ers, a guy who underachieved in San Francisco, a guy I think we all said, man, this guy, he's 6'5", he could be one of the best wide receivers, sort of a reincarnation of Trey Hackett. Never really flourished because he never really had the quarterback out in San Francisco. Now he goes to Baltimore, Lip, into the AFC North, a tougher defensive division, but he has a quarterback that's throwing to him in Andrew Luck, and he actually has a running game and an offense that may allow Rashard Swann to actually reach that potential.
Yeah, I think that you could see 3 1,000-yard receivers. This year they had Fairley at 1,100. Adkins, who I think is the best receiver there, at just over 1,000 yards. So I think you add Swann in there, who is probably, I want to say, top 5 of the wide receivers that we've seen. Maybe 3 or 4 best overall that I've seen come out of the drafts. I think maybe Calvin Patrick and Fort from Chicago, and Harvey Beckham. So maybe put Swann around 4 or 5, but I think he's a top 5 wide receiver. So you put him in that mix of 2 1,000-yard receivers, like you said, good passing attack and run game. I mean, that's going to give those Ravens the boost that they need as long as they can kick field goals in the playoffs.
Ooh, Justin Tucker burn down right there. I love it. Love it. Love the shade being thrown at old Justin Tucker, the extra point misheard around the world. We got our first screenshots coming in. Let's first go to the number 1 overall pick. Jarrell Hutchinson, 79 overall superstar dev, 85 speed, 88 block shed, 81 power move. This is a guy I think, Sonny, when you look at him, 79 overall, maybe not where you wanted at number 1. I think you're probably kicking yourself a little bit because you got a superstar development in the last season of the cycle, but that'll be great for the 5-year sim, and this guy looks like you can plug him in right away and will help the San Francisco defense.
Yeah, this guy's going to be all over the field. I like him a lot. 229, I think maybe a little bit bigger would have been helpful there, but the 88 block shed's going to be nice. You're going to play him on the front side. He's going to take on all blockers, and he's really going to get after it. I think this guy's going to be great for October, but like you said, would have liked to have had him maybe one or two more seasons.
Lip, I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be absolutely going crazy, but this guy, 6'1", 229, a smaller linebacker, comes in with 88 block shed and 63 finesse moves. Got real nerfed right there in the actual move set. So this is going to be a guy who, I guess San Francisco is going to want to drop back into coverage more than actually bring him at the quarterback and force some pressure.
Yeah, and with that 85 speed, that seems like something that would be more likely to make sense. The guy's he doesn't have the moves that you look for in some of those highly drafted outside linebackers. But the one thing that I want to point out is I feel like San Francisco in the past, October's been a real heavy defensive guy. He's always been pretty good at defense. One of those underrated guys on defense. And I think this year he tried to go really heavy in offense and try to, I guess, balance out. But I want to see him get back to the defense that I remember from a couple of Maddens ago. And I think that starts right here with Hutchinson. So maybe this season Hutchinson can add some firepower to that defense. And he is a superstar development, so maybe those moves will get up in time for a late season push.
Let's take a look at some of the other picks that are coming in. Let's go over to Philadelphia. We talked about this cornerback pick, Felix Boston, coming in 81 overall, 93 speed, 97 acceleration, 82 man coverage. This is a guy, Sonny, who he's listed as a man-to-man type. He's got 82 man. He's got those speed stats, and he's coming out with 83 press. This is going to be a guy that is going to be tough to throw on in man coverage out in the NFC East.
Yeah, it's a great pick for Deca because this guy, you're going to set him up on the field. You're going to put him on the on your depth chart at 1 or 2, and then you're not going to touch him, and he's going to help your team right away. That's what Deca needed in this draft, and that's what this guy's going to do for him.
97 acceleration coming out. Lip.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Lip, that's going to be tough to throw against. I don't care who you have at wide receiver.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what they need. They need, like I said, you need to go after winning your division, and that's basically stopping the New York Giants. And you put Felix Boston on the best wide receivers, let him learn, let him develop. And that's going to give you a giant boost on your defense because he's a heck of a player.
Again, folks, we appreciate all of you tuning in to the Season 32 NBL Rookie Draft, last one of this cycle. I'm OSU, hanging out with my man Lip and Sonny. A reminder, folks, hit that follow button so you know each and every time we go live. We've got a lot going on in the next couple of weeks. We've got EA Play. Go over and follow our YouTube, youtube.com/Madden Bomber League. We'll be posting lots of interviews from EA Play, and then at least the first 2 nights, possibly all 3, depending if we have stuff to talk about. We'll be running live streams from the confines of our Airbnb, would be the big one. I'll be running live streams to Twitch, and we will be be able to answer some of your questions live from LA after EA Play. Sonny, this is a fun time in Madden. I feel like the hype sort of builds up now, and now that we found out that Madden's actually going to be coming out almost 3 full weeks earlier than we're used to it, this hype I feel like is going to carry everybody through July, and then before we know it, the game's going to be coming out.
Yeah, anytime it seems like, we're going to be in that kind of late summer rush, but everything's moved up now, and so kind of throws us off a little bit. We joked about that we normally go into the late August, and we were playing, what was that last night? Friday the 13th. And that we played that for what last year? 2 months? A month and a half? 2 months? Because there was just nothing to do towards the end of the summer. But this year, it almost feels like the summer's going to fly by because we're immediately going to have to be getting ready for this. I was thinking the other night, we're coming up on the team draft not too far from now.
Yeah, team selection coming up. And a reminder for all you out there who may be looking for something fun to do around the launch of Madden, be sure to go over and check out and apply for our Madden 19, EA Access Tournament. It's at 365.maddenbomberleague.com. Underneath the About the NBL tab, it is free to enter. We're giving away over $1,000 worth of prizes, folks, including to first place that signed Saquon Barkley helmet. It was a great show last year. We're going to be doing 12-hour live stream for day one of the tournament. We'll also be we'll be announcing in a couple days, just after EA Play, we'll be announcing a little bit of a charity tie-in. So it's going to be a great tournament for a good cause. Lip last year went off, I think, better than anybody expected, because I think we all expected in our year one some sort of calamity. It actually all went off pretty much without a hitch. We had some great games, had some great moments here on the live stream. And it was overall, I think everybody was really happy. We got to give away that Antonio Brown jersey the last year. This year, we're giving you a little future value here with a rookie in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and it seems like every time we do this, we get a prize that I just would absolutely love to have. That Saquon Barkley thing.
Next year, it's going to be a kale salad. So,
but yeah, OSU. One of my favorite memories from last year was we were on there watching the first couple of games, and we were watching the game and dissecting it and seeing what we thought, and we were learning about the game from watching it, not even playing it, and that was a lot of fun. I'm really excited. And another thing is we had quite a handful of people last year jumping in and out, talking. We had all sorts of people come on and just totally different conversations with each person. And that's something that's really exciting, because just like with tonight, we're just kind of on here hanging out and talking about the game that we love to play. It's kind of like that, except we're calling more of a game, talking about everything that we see with a new game. It's really an exciting time for everybody to get in, play the game, and watch the game and see what's new about it.
Yeah, and Sonny, I think Lip brought up a great point. The fun part about this tournament, not only is it free, which you really find free tournaments to enter with some good prizes. We'll be giving away a ton of prizes that week. Not only will it be for charity, which is great, but it's the first real extended look anybody's going to have at the game. We're going to get to test it out at EA Play, but really at the end of the day, nobody's had an extended look at the final product until that EA Access time. So we'll all be learning about the game as you guys learn about the game, as these people play it. We'll get to see some fun tendencies. It's a neat look at the first time we get to see this game.
Yeah, I remember last year we were kind of looking at some of the things that, we hadn't seen before, like, when a lineman gets pushed back into the quarterback, that reach around tackle, some of those kind of things that...
Yeah, we can't call it that.
Yeah,
Can't call it that. Shut up.
But anyways, even like the halfback, right? So one of the things that people didn't really realize was how much better the halfback was this year in pass protection. He would come across the pocket and pick guys up, and that was something that up until this year we didn't really get to see. So, there's a lot of those features that they're not back of the box features. They're not things that everybody's going to know a ton about, but they're things you're going to notice early on, and that's going to be the stuff that, really is exciting early on.
Got another screenshot coming in, folks. They are flying into the inbox. Guys, bear with us as we try to get through as many of the first round draft prospects as we can. We have received them. You just all send them very quickly. Let's go to Arizona, a team who's in a division that I think is one of the more winnable divisions. They go cornerback with Jamarcus Johnson, 6'2", 206, 90 speed and acceleration, 91 agility, 84 man, 82 zone. So in a little bit of contrast, Lip, from what we saw in the Eagles cornerback, this guy not quite as fast, obviously, not 97 excel coming out, but a little better in those coverage attributes, 84, 82. What sort of value, when you're looking at cornerbacks, do you value those speed attributes more, or do you value the actual skill attributes such as man and zone coverage?
I think that the big thing about this Johnson fella is that he is 6'2", so that is
come on,
that's a long Johnson.
That's a big John. By the way, is Bananas gonna miss? What's happening in 17?
He's got his draft board set. It's gonna be the fastest running back.
Got it.
But yeah, Long Johnson here, 6'2". The thing
is running back. Yeah, there it is.
90 speed, 90 acceleration, and 91 agility. That is good enough to play with anybody. So those coverages at 84 and 82 with quick development, those are going to shoot up. So he's going to be an extremely talented corner in just a couple of weeks. And the thing about the Cardinals is they already have a pretty good defense. I do believe they let Patrick Peterson go in free agency. So Johnson's going to fill that hole, and he's going to be a heck of a player. And he's going to be a lot better than what Patrick Peterson was the past couple of seasons just because of age.
So, Lip, what you're saying is that Long Johnson's going to fill that hole?
That Long Johnson's going to fill that hole, and we're going to see a totally different Arizona Cardinals defense.
Sonny, chances that this Arizona Cardinals team makes a run at the division this year?
That division, it's tough to figure out. I'm never sure if the division is just equally balanced, or if they're just all bad, or what's going on. Now, Seattle showed some life last year, but at times they also did not show up. They had a stretch where they started off really well, and then they just kind of stumbled down the back. And so we'll see. They got Russell Wilson. They brought in Derek Carr? Did they bring in Derek Carr?
It's not David Carr.
What?
It's not David Carr.
Derek Carr. But was it Carr or Kaiser? They brought in somebody to compete.
Who are we talking about? The Cardinals?
The Seahawks.
Seahawks brought in Deshaun
Kaiser. So, you're really not sure what's going on in Seattle. I would handicap that division as Seattle, a really big fall off, and then everyone else. So anybody could win.
As we continue on here in the rookie draft, I'm scrolling up to look through. We had a big run of wide receivers. Picks 9 through 14. Everybody went wide receiver except for the Bills, who went middle linebacker. So, Lip, as we saw this deep wide receiver draft, if you were hoping for one to fall to you, we're just gonna say tough nuggets, Princess, because you are not getting anybody. These wide receivers are flying off the board.
Yeah, and that's a position that everybody loves to draft. And the thing is, sometimes it's what your team needs, and other times, which I think is probably more often than not, it's a reach, because you have other areas that you could fill on both sides of the ball where you don't need to go out and grab the flashy player. I do believe the fella that the Redskins got has some juice to him, is pretty talented, but I think that there's other issues in Washington that should be resolved before we go out and get a fun wide receiver. And I think that's a common theme in a lot of teams in the league. So I'm never really that amazed at runs on wide receiver early in the first round, because we've seen guys like Harvey Beckham fall to like pick 26 before. And I just think guys are reaching and just trying to get, buying the hype on some guys and not really doing their homework and not really filling what their team needs.
Speaking of that Porter wide receiver out in Washington, let's take a look at Carlo Johnson. Not Carlos. The S is dropped because he has additional speed. Also, what is this screenshot? Why do we have what appears to be a ghost awareness going on right side? I don't really know what's happening, but anywho, 96 speed, 95 excel, 85 route running. Sonny, I can only imagine Doughboy's mad he didn't get this sort of speed wide receiver. That's some great stats coming out. Add in the 85 route running. He's a little undersized, but I don't think with that sort of speed you really care about going over the top.
Yeah, that's that guy's a speedster. In the realm of a Tanner or a Beckham, or some of those guys we've seen this cycle. Some of the really small, just speedsters that they can basically do anything they want, and I'm sure Porter's going to have a lot of fun throwing interceptions towards that guy.
Porter had one job, take a clear screenshot, couldn't even pull it off with that equipment. Let's take a look at what Jacksonville did, Lip. They went out and got a wide receiver. They got Rashawn Daniels, and coming out, 87 speed, 94 acceleration. All green in all these categories. 91 jump, 91 spec catch, 6'4", 225. A guy for Daniel Shirley to throw to. The Jaguars, very disappointing season this year. But Lip, when I talked to him last, he had said he wants that division title. He wants to make. I think his quote was "make Sonny cry." Does this help? Because I don't know. Does another wide receiver help these Jacksonville Jaguars, or is there a deeper problem out in Jacksonville?
The confusing thing is that they really don't have an identity on offense. I don't know who they are. And with Lawrence McGowan last year, look at this. You're pairing Daniels, who's 6'4", 225, with McGowan, who is 6'2", 198. They've got some big receivers. And now there is no longer any excuse for Daniel Shirley to be out there throwing interceptions. He threw 28 interceptions this year, a QBR of 87. There really isn't any excuse now with these two really talented receivers. McGowan went 66 receptions, 1,300 yards last year and 11 touchdowns. If Daniels can be anywhere near that, like I said, they have no excuse. They have to have a high-powered offense, and then it just falls on defense that I think is good enough to win that division.
All right, well, let's take a look at the two offensive linemen who went in the top 5. Sonny, you were talking about how going offensive lineman is a big risk considering you don't have that time to develop them. Let's look first in Los Angeles. They get a 78 overall right tackle in Lee Branch, 92 strength, 89 run block, but 72 pass block, 6'5", 317 at tackle. First of all, big reach, by the way. 50 in true talent. Drafted him at number 4. But 89 run block, Sonny, might be one of the highest I've seen coming out. But at right tackle, that 72 pass block's got to be a major concern.
Yeah, it's a huge concern because in this year, some of the best pass rushers in the game have been on that left side of the defense, and I think that's going to be a problem here for these Rams. Again, I don't like linemen in the top 10 in this last year because you don't have time. That 61 awareness, he's going to get blown by a lot. He's not going to know who to block. Then you add the 72 pass block in there. You know, he'll be okay. He'll be serviceable, especially in the run game, but he's going to give up a lot of sacks.
The other player going in the top 5 to a offensive line was out in Carolina with Hayden Jurevicius, a left guard. And Lip, I look at this guy, I'm much more comfortable plugging this guy in. 81 overall, 91 strength, 86 run block, 79 pass block. Pass block at guard, I always seem to value a little less just because they do have help around them. 92 impact, though. This is going to be a guy they can plug in and help that running game and maybe open up the offense a little bit for Carolina.
Yeah, and Joyce was only sacked 42 times last year, so I'm not. It's not one of those outstanding numbers that you see and you're like, wow, they need help up front. I think that they would have been better off on taking somebody on defense, but maybe the guys that they liked on defense were taken, and that's why they went with an offensive lineman. They really are in the bottom third of the offensive attack here at 24th in passing yards and 20th in rushing yards, but I still do really like this guy as he has good stats. But back to the previous guy, I think with that quick development and having 89 run block already, you don't have to put into that run block. So you can focus all of your attention on the pass block. And, preseason, maybe 3 or 4 weeks into the regular season, he'll be ready to go. And he'll be a great player to have because he's already on his way to being a star.
Let's take a look at one more player that I thought was interesting. And Sonny, this is going to be in the running, I think, for the Paysinger Award, possibly. We've already seen one reach at 50. This is out in Minnesota. They went with Taylor Walter, the tight end, 76 overall, slow dev, 82 speed, 82 catch. He's 6'4", 254. He's got some size that he can be an effective pass catcher. 82, 81 for a tight end is not bad, but slow dev. Not a great route runner, 76 overall, and Minnesota had a pick at 15. I feel like this is one of those that they could have done a lot more with.
They could have done better, but, last year of the cycle, 72 run block is pretty good for a tight end. He's got some speed to him, awareness and route running a little rough, but I feel like he's going to be able to be productive this year. And I think this draft of the cycle, more than any, is straight you draft for need. BPA doesn't matter here. You're going straight knee. You're filling out the roster, and really, you're just trying to get guys who are going to try to help you this year.
As we continue to roll through this first round of the Season 32 rookie draft, it's a fun night here in the MBL. This draft, though, Lip, we talked about it being the last draft of the cycle. Does this draft have less impact to you? I feel like, I've only been here through one entire season in the MBL. And I thought that last year's Season 25 draft, the last draft of the Madden 17 cycle, I anticipated going in that we weren't going to have a whole lot going on. We got some great players out of that draft and some great storylines. I feel like even though it's that last draft of the cycle, there's still a lot of progress to be made, and some of these teams, one of these players could put them over the top.
Oh, absolutely. The other night, whenever we were doing bonus coverage, me, you, and Bomber were talking about, you had asked who the best teams were to win. We ranked the Super Bowl winners from this cycle, and Bomber brought up a great point that some of those teams were fueled by draft picks from the previous year that really, it was the last piece that they needed. And that's why I absolutely think that every draft matters, even if it's the last draft of the cycle, because a lot of teams are one piece away. We saw the Vikings get a quarterback. They went on to win the Super Bowl. And I actually think that the Ravens are in that position. They bring in Swan in free agency. They could draft an unbelievable player here in the first round and then get some good depth later in the draft. And that could put them in Super Bowl position. So I think that there's a couple of teams that they're looking at this draft exactly like that. And that's why I definitely think that there's value here.
Sonny, we're gonna in a moment talk about this wide receiver the Cowboys got because I really like him. But curious, at 25, as you can see on your screen, the Atlanta Falcons go quarterback. That was not one of the teams I had pegged as going for a quarterback. I know they like Brody Denton, and he actually led them to a playoff berth this year, a division title. Are you surprised to see the Falcons going quarterback at number 25?
Yeah, that's one of those things where the value's too good to pass up, except for the fact that you get them for 1 year and you already have a quarterback. So,
I lied. They didn't win a division. Maybe that's why.
Maybe they are worried about his ability to stay healthy. Best backup.
5th overall passing offense. They have Deion Burst. They have Kelsey Ford. And again, last season of the cycle, this is a team, Sonny, who's built on defense with Tack McKinley. I'm just surprised. I mean, this seemed like a fairly deep draft for the first round. Is this just purely a best player available pick?
Yeah, I guess.
I've got a 92 overall quarterback in Brody Denton.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I think that Denton might get hurt fairly often, at least often enough that they think that they need another quarterback. I don't like it at all, but if they think that they're that close and the reason that they were held back is because their quarterback has been hurt in key games, then this makes a lot of sense. But it's just not, it's just not a situation that happens often enough that I think you use your first round pick on that.
Let's go to Dallas now. Let's talk about this wide receiver they picked up in that sort of flurry of wide receivers. It's Vincent Peterson. 5'8", 186, 95 speed, 92 excel, superstar dev, 86 jumping. Lip, I'm looking at this card. I love everything about it, except for that 74 catching. He's 74 catching, 79 catching traffic. This is a guy who's going to be that short, maybe slot wide receiver, running some underneath routes in Dallas, and that could be very helpful, but a wide receiver coming out with these good stats and 74 catching, how much can you trust him to make the big catches?
I have quite a bit of experience with later drafted guys that come in with similar physical skills and terrible catching stats, and they are going to drop a ton of balls in the first couple of weeks. You have to get that catching up because they have such a small frame. They're going to get hit. They're going to get cracked. And the catching, and especially that trait where they don't drop passes, you need to be able to build that up quickly. You'll be able to do that with the superstar development. And once you fix that, this guy's going to be an absolute star because there's not a lot of corners and safeties that can keep up with this guy.
Lip, your thoughts on this guy out in Dallas? A division in the NFC East. This Cowboys team always seems to be very strong out of the gate, and then they sort of fade at the end. Does this wide receiver and another weapon add something for the Cowboys, or is this going to be another year of them not making the playoffs?
I'm not sure that this is one of the teams on my list that gets a change based on one player. They were 7-9 last year, but I'm just not sure because they had two guys throw for just over 1,500 yards, and Elliott just ran for 863 yards. I'm not sure that they're really figuring out much on offense. And Train's one of those guys, again, who has historically played good defense, but they were 23rd against the pass. So I'm not really sure there's a whole lot of things going in the right direction for Dallas. But maybe this one player turns the offense around enough that the defense is allowed to play the style that Train likes, and it turns the team around. Because they're not that far off. 7-9. I could be completely wrong. They might win 10 games next year and be in that spot.
Sonny, you going to take the Cowboys in your stock exchange this year?
No, pass.
It's a hard pass?
That's probably going to be a hard pass. I still like those Giants.
As we continue to the end of the first round, we got Lip's pick coming up. Hey, Sonny, how'd that wide receiver for you look?
Did you say how many wide receivers have gone?
Yeah, no. How did your wide receiver that you pick look?
Oh, he's great. I'm actually waiting for him to load. He's taking forever. Not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, 6'6", gotta like that. 89 speed, 91 acceleration, 94 jumping, 91 spectacular, 86 catching, 85 catching traffic.
All right, that's enough about you. Let's move on to
That's amazing.
Let's move on to the draft guru himself, Mr. Play a Partner. Let's see what he got with his first round pick. Going defensive tackle with Jakari Turner, 6'3", 315. This guy is a large hombre, as they'd say south of the border. 91 strength, 83 block shed, 81 tackle. Sonny, this was a team in Tampa that needs some help stopping the run, maybe get some pressure on the quarterback. Maybe not the flashiest pick Play has ever had, maybe not the most, oh my lord, look at the talent that he got, but definitely fills a need in Tampa.
Yeah, he's a solid 3 technique. The 76 power move is a little concerning. I'd like to see that in the 80s. 79 acceleration, not bad. 91 strength, very good. He's solid. I'm not sure if he's going to do anything spectacular this year, but he's definitely going to get after it. Who said great 3-4 defensive tackle? Nah, he's more of a 3 technique, not so much a nose tackle.
Sonny, excuse me, Lip. Any insight of where you're going at number 30? You picking? You got a great idea of where you're going, or are you just waiting to see what's happening?
There's a player on my board that I would love to take. And
let us know who that is in the next 40 seconds before MBL picks.
Say it. Spit it out.
I'm not going to disclose
who is it?
But there's a guy that I really need, but there's a guy that I really want.
So if MBM could pick
it would
both,
be a
wide receiver
decision. It would be terrible for me to take the guy I want.
It's a wide receiver.
Can we talk about just for a second how the Chargers picked somebody named Gaydosh? At quarterback. They have Carson Wentz still out there, right? Going quarterback in LA, Sonny. Surprising, especially going with Gaydosh. Great name.
I think Gub just got drawn to the name.
Yeah, it's a good name. It's like Dingle and Gaydosh should play together. I'm just saying. As we continue through the first round of the NBL rookie
here we go.
draft,
Let's take another.
No pressure, as I assume that the player that he needed was not the free safety. I'm just going to go out there, Sonny, and put it out there that.
Oh boy, this is tough.
Don't
do it,
make
Lip. Just do it. Just
noise.
because you can, just do it.
Again, folks, in the chat, post your questions as we're getting down towards the end of the first round. We got about another hour here on the stream. We will answer anything that you want to talk about, whether it's MBL related, whether it's Madden related, whether it's food related, whether it's a quiz. I don't really care. Just post your questions in the chat. Tag at MBL Network so it at least sort of pops up for me. And let us know what you want to know about as we head into Madden 19. Sonny, let's talk a little Madden 19, okay? We've already seen some information get released. One of the things I'm most excited about is that real player motion graphics that they have upgraded to, because I think one of the bigger things that people have been both a big fan of and they hate is the ability to make 90-degree cuts with running backs, with wide receivers. It's almost like that juke move isn't really necessary. It's big just to be able to make that quick cut with the left stick. With these real player graphics, it appears that is no more because the players are going to act more realistically, and we may see a decrease in those swerve cuts.
Yeah, we're talking momentum here. We're talking offensive, defensively. We're talking about the idea of changing direction and losing speed, something that's really just never been good in Madden. And, every year it seems like we're getting told that they're fixing that. Well, here we go again. We're going to give it a shot. But, I like the idea. Any way we can get closer to it.
That's a boring pick.
Oh, wow. Lip.
What a boring pick.
I can't believe you did that.
But I won big. I won big.
I'm gonna do Bomber solid right now and just switch the rookie draft screen so people don't see his draft board. So, folks, you are welcome.
We want to watch him pick the wide receiver, though.
Nah, he's.
I tell you what, I think that there's a guy going at 31 that I was going to take.
Brawler, I will show my pick. I just
might go at 31.
And I'll show Brawler's pick as well. As Bomber's looking through these guys, we'll go to the screenshot page.
The fact that he hasn't already been selected is incredibly surprising to me.
There
he goes. That's the guy.
That's the guy. Jared.
That's the guy, huh?
That is the guy. That was my deep want. That was my I wanted him, but I had to go with Hayward. I had to shore up that offensive line because Stafford was sacked 60 sometimes last year, and we need to fix that real quick.
Anywho, here's the halfback that I took in Oakland. No more Jalen Richard. 93 speed. 86 excel, 91 carry, 89 ball carrier vision. Lip, I have absolutely just drafted Jalen Richard with a different name. I would like to apologize. He's basically the same player.
Yeah, but the quick development, 5'10".
Jalen Richard had quick development.
I would like to know Lucas's agility. Would you be able to pull that up real quick?
Yeah, I can look that up. Let's see.
Because I think that these 5'10" fellas with 93 speed, it's already got great carrying, good ball carrier vision of 89.
89 agility.
89 agility. I think that's a really good player. And if you need a running back, which I did, Lucas was definitely high on the draft board. So I think that's a solid player, even though, yes, you may have just replaced him with an identical player.
100%, absolutely. But he's cheaper. I just picked him. So
he's cheaper, he's younger, and he has the same development. I'm
playing for that 5-year sim. Hey, a reminder, folks, if you haven't heard about
absolutely.
the 5-year sim, that's going to be a fun show, Liv. I'm real excited for that. We're going to be simming at the end of Season 32. We'll be simming an extra 5 years. We'll be running through that. It'll be myself, Bomber, Lip, Sonny, running through the next 5 years of the CPU sim of this Madden Bomber League. I'm really interested to see this. Lip, it sort of will be able to, I guess, unofficially crown that maybe the best team builder, because it will really take into account the actual talent of the players and less so the talent of the player on the sticks.
Yeah, it really depends. I mean, the one of the most interesting things that I'm excited to see, and it's not just because it's Bomber, man, but it's changed now that Bomber's taken that player. But before that pick, these teams that are good that have older quarterbacks like Rodgers and Stafford, and if there's any other ones still lingering out there, Carson Wentz, maybe, not quite sure how old he is, but where those teams go at quarterback is going to be interesting. But the biggest thing that I'm excited to see is I'm really excited to see Playa's team, because I know that they have a ton of talent, and that's the biggest thing. And we've already talked about this so many times that I think that that's going to be the big one to watch. Because we know how well he drafts. He drafts absolute studs in every round, doesn't waste a pick, and that's going to be exciting to watch.
I was just checking out the MBL Network chat on Twitch. Again, folks, keep bringing your questions. I saw a couple pop in. I'm going to read those out just after this one. Brawler came in and, much like Brawler does, I was talking a little trash about my picks. I didn't take that running back because of the acceleration. Which my guy 86 acceleration. Let's take a look at who the Broncos took. They went halfback as well. Or excuse me, they went tackle instead, and they went with a offensive lineman, Sonny. Something you said that might be an issue. And what I see over there on the left side of the screen is it says you reached at 57 at number 16. Thoughts on that one? 92 strength, 84 run block, 88 impact block, some nice skills. That 74 pass block, a concern again for a tackle. 6'5", 310 out to Denver.
Yeah, I mean, he's a reach. What can you say? He's not very good, and picking that high in the draft, you expect better, and you busted out, son.
Lip, thoughts on is he in the running for the pacing award?
Oh,
say yes, just say yes.
Pew?
Yeah,
Pew for pacing?
It's Puke.
Oh no, goodness, no.
He's not high enough. He didn't go high enough.
If you're gonna say that Pew is in the running for pacing, you have to say that the gentleman with 89 run block and 72 pass block.
Oh yeah, he's in the running too.
He would have to be
Especially
a lot higher than Pew on that list. But
Eddie Mars in the chat saying that right tackle is straight puke.
Nah.
See?
Yeah. That's the thing. I think that you can get these lower because you can't. I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the only problem with this pick in Denver is think of the defensive lines he has to go after. Two of the best defensive lines in LA and in Kansas City. And they're putting out a guy with 74 pass block. That's going to be a tough task considering the defensive ends that are in the AFC West. Yeah,
anytime. Look, okay, let's just be honest. Anytime anybody goes against the Chargers' defensive front, they're going to have an absolute terrible time. You're going to have a bad day. But
you're going to have a bad time.
Yes. Like I talked about earlier, you draft, and you sign free agents, and you build your team to win your division. And that's the exact right thing to do. You have such a monstrous D-line in that division that you have to go against. You have to be tired of getting your butt kicked by those guys. So you draft guys that you think can fill that position and get you in a better position to fight for your division. So I'm on board with it. Whether it plays out well or not, who knows? But I think that the mindset is in the right position.
Let's take a look at some of these questions coming into the chat. Again, keep posting your questions, folks. We will answer what you ask. Does pineapple belong on a pizza from Bobonot? Absolutely not. If you put pizza on
no.
No. Sonny's a communist. No, that's fine. It's fine. No, amazing. You're absolutely wrong.
Sonny,
he's off the network.
Go back to Lava Town.
Lava Town. Well, you know that
goes to Hawaii one time, and he's like pineapple.
Me so much was because of my affinity for pineapple on pizza.
I was eating jalapenos and grapes last night, so I guess I can't say anything.
Yeah, you're a weird dude.
Like was it like handfuls at the same time?
Nope, I was standing at my fridge. I ate a jalapeno and I needed something to cool it down, so I ate 15 grapes and then I ate 2 more jalapenos and then I just quit eating grapes.
I can't fault
jalapenos and grapes.
Yeah, I can't fault the logic there. Lilfish, best thing from McDonald's.
Grapes.
What is the best thing from McDonald's?
What is the best thing from McDonald's?
Yeah.
Oh man, definitely the double quarter pounder. Easy.
I'm a big fan of the. Have you had the chicken snack wraps? Big fan of those.
I'm not a big like, unless it's a taco. I'm not into like any kind of like Subway wraps, and I'm just not into that.
Were you making the burrito as a wrap comment? Is that?
I just don't like I just don't like that stuff
Tortillas?
Unless it's a taco. Yeah, like
get your Mexican bread out of America is what Lip is saying.
Yeah, well,
Bobonot saying, is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Hey man, you got top bun, bottom bun, and then you got.
No, you don't. You have left bun, right bun. Let's get that very clear.
Nah, dude. Whenever you put it in your mouth, you hold it in such a way. At least I do, to where the top bun is at the top, and the bottom bun is at the bottom of your mouth, so that you get an equal amount of bread in your mouth at one time. Because whenever you do it on the side, then like your lip touches like the ketchup and stuff, and it's just, oh boy, is it a mess.
This is a real scientific discussion.
So first off, I've eaten jalapenos and grapes, and now I'm eating hot dogs weird.
Yep.
So
Lips.
But you don't like pineapple.
But hold up, I've eaten hundreds more hot dogs than anybody in this league.
That's very true.
You've had a ton of wieners. Yeah,
I know my wieners.
Yeah, he knows them. I saw a question in the chat. I'm trying to find who it was. So yell at me when I say it. But Sonny, the question was, who in your mind is the worst team for team selection next year? Which team is the one that you think is going to go probably 32?
Who will go 32? Now that's a different question than the worst team, because.
All right, give me both. Throw both at them.
Oh man,
can you repeat the question? I heard the worst team part, but I was reading hot dog
for
stuff
team
in the
selection.
Chat.
Worst team. He was like researching. Worst team for team selection, and team that you think will go 32 in team selection.
Oh, okay, yeah, very, very two different things.
Oh man, that's actually a tough question. I got to think about that a little bit. Vikings are always kind of down there. If Homer doesn't take them, you got a tough division. I know that Hop jumped in there this year. I don't think there's a lot of people really interested in doing that. We know the fund issues that are there. I'm not sure they're 32, but I think they're pretty far down on that team selection list. The Ravens were the guy that we always like to talk about, but Lamar Jackson's going to push that team up, so they're going to go a little higher than what we expect. Dolphins, maybe I could say, is the worst possible team that anybody would draft. I'll go Dolphins.
That's the worst team?
That's the worst, and actually, I think the Dolphins may actually be the last now that I think about it. Dolphins or Colts? I'm going to go Dolphins.
I was just going to say, I think that the Colts are probably one of the least desirable teams because they're playing against the Jaguars and the Titans. They might be the worst team that you could take.
Because it was pretty clear cut this year that the Ravens were the worst team going in, right? With the contract situation and the talent. Did the Ravens move up from bottom?
Absolutely not. I despise Lamar Jackson in the way that he
does.
I do. I think he's a terrible. He should come out with 98 speed, 82 throw power, and all 60s accuracies as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think that adds any value to that team. And plus, you still have to deal with Flacco for a period of time. But I think the Colts are the least desirable team. I think the team that might fall, I don't think Homer's going back to them. So I think the Vikings might have to be at the bottom list. It's between those teams to me, the Vikings and the Colts. will be at the bottom of the list, depending on what Homer does. Not quite sure.
Hound says he's going to take the Ravens and take Lamar.
All right, Hound is a fun division opponent. I've enjoyed having Hound in the AFC North. I think for a cycle and a couple seasons. It's been fun.
Eddie Moore,
and that's the thing. He's come a long way, and we saw a couple of good seasons this cycle, and then a nice run battling for a wild card position. Got into the playoffs. So I mean, he does build teams pretty well, and gets them from the worst team in team selection to the playoffs. So that's always interesting and fun to see. It's one of the funnest things to watch as we go through an entire cycle, no matter who it is.
Before I get to some of the responses we got in the chat to that question, Black Diamond 615 asking the most important question, which is why do they call them buildings when they're already done building them? They ought to be called built. It's just true. That's just fact. Eddie Marsh saying worst team Broncos, last team Bills. I don't think the Broncos are the worst, Sonny, especially with that defense. And they drafted
they just got Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, I don't think the Broncos are the worst. I think they're bottom 12. They'll go after 20, but they've got that defense. Last Bills. I don't think the Bills are going to go last. I think the Bills will go actually relatively early because a lot of people like that AFC East. Hound saying Colts going last. Cringe saying Jets. I think the Jets, Sonny, are actually a really enticing team to look at because of the defense that they have, a lot of cap room, and a lot of young players.
Jets are very interesting because, you get Sam Darnold out there, so you get a young quarterback. That defense is not bad. They picked up Avery Williams, middle linebacker, that's going to be pretty good to go play next to Darren Lee and a couple other guys they've got out there. You've got, I can't think of the Adams, right? Adams, the safety.
Jamal Adams.
Yeah, Jamal Adams. Yeah, they've got some studs out there. I like that team, and in that division, right? In a division where that Patriots team continues to get older, I feel like that's an opportunity for somebody trying to sneak a division.
Pay no attention to me. I'm making my pick. Keep talking. Lip, your turn. Go.
So buildings are called buildings even after they're built because it's just like a painting. It's already painted, but it's a painting.
Painteds.
And that was a tip. I pulled that from Sonny Weaver's playbook because I Googled the heck out of that.
Oh, good. See, hey, you know what? Intelligence is not anything to be shameful about.
You are a walking Google. A
Woogle.
Talking.
If I went and read it in a book,
Google.
would it be different?
Excuse me?
If instead of looking it up on Google, I looked it up in a book and then learned that knowledge, is that different?
Well, if you look it up in a book, you're talking about this is like, if you looked it up in the book, you were probably doing that on your own at a previous time. When somebody asks you a question and you take that Googled information that you just got because of the question and present it like you already knew it because you're a genius, it's kind of silly.
Well, I mean, if you do that enough, you start retaining that, and then you just have those answers. You don't
absolutely.
Actually have to
OSU, are you done selecting? Because Sonny's just stressing me out.
No, I picked. I'm getting fraud alert texts from my bank, and I'm trying to figure out what in the blue hell do they think I bought. I think it's a gas station, 15 cents. It's got to be a gas station, right?
That's a tester. That's a tester.
Yes. Yeah. Next
They're
thing, it's going to be 1,500.
This is very inconvenient for them to have to shut my card down right before I go to LA. I want to point that out. That's incredibly inconvenient.
That's a problem.
But
Sonny will fund it.
Thanks, Sonny. I appreciate it. Donations to the OSU LA fund.
You just have Fat cover you. Have Fat cover you while you're out there, and then you're all good.
That ain't covering crap. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Worst division in the NFL for Madden. Define worst? Like talent? Like worst to play in because of the other teams?
Worst talent, AFC East.
Yeah. But not even particularly close, is it?
It's been horrible for 2 cycles in a row.
Yeah, I was initially going to go NFC South, but the Saints just came out of nowhere. They have a lot of talent, especially on defense. So it's easily going to – I mean, we're talking about the Dolphins being the last pick. the Jets have some players. The Patriots, they're not really much of anything outside of a couple players. And that division goes from whatever they do have to nothing really quick. And they're already close to the bottom, if not the bottom. So they go from bad to worse in a season in Madden. So it's pretty bad.
I'm pulling up a screenshot right now. Out in New England.
Speak of the devil.
All right. New England with their first round pick, going cornerback Andrew Porcher, 6'3", 208. Slow dev, less relevant now. 93 speed, 95 excel, so fast out of the box, but 78 man, 73 zone. Sonny, I look at this guy, I think of him as maybe you can put him in at the slot with that sort of speed numbers, but definitely not a number 1 or number 2 here in the first year, and that slow dev isn't going to help him out.
Nope, not going to help him a whole lot, but you know, he's got the physical attributes to run with people. The man coverage is decent. The zone, you know, that'll take a little time to get up, but you know, he's a serviceable corner for the year. I wouldn't call him great, but he'll get the job done this season.
I think that's a great corner to user. I mean, he's got the speed.
Yeah.
If you can user him until he can get those coverages up with slow development, it's already a little bit of a battle at the beginning with normal to get the play rec and the awareness up. You know, you already have to fight that if you're not using them. But then you add in that zone coverage on top of it, it's going to be tough. So this is a player that I would definitely have to use. He's 6'3", got a long reach, 93 speed, 95 excel, 92 agility. It's a really good player physically. Just needs a little bit of time to develop, but I'm not sure because we don't have much time.
As I skillfully just threw that on top. Let's look inside of Sonny's division. Sonny, old Toutstifer, going with Robert Decoux, and this is a guy that it was a good pick, ranked number 2 in true talent, 91 speed, 90 excel. This guy, you look at this one, and whenever I look at possession wide receivers, Sonny, the best word I can come up for them is all around. These guys are typically not maybe great in any one category, but 83 route running, 89 catch in traffic, 89 spec catch. I mean, this guy is going to be a real nice piece in Indy. Doesn't scare you at all that you're going to be going up against this guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's good. I'm not too worried about it. He'll run 2 routes. He'll run crossers. He'll run out routes, and that is the offense. So, you know, we got that figured out, but I think the guy is going to be okay. I think Tout's going to feed him a lot, so you basically know where to use her. It's going to be wherever this guy is, and, you know, it'll be Tout.
Didn't you just have that happen not too long ago? Fry, what happened? I'm sorry, I just scrolled back. I assume it was timely when the comment came out, but I don't know what you're talking about.
My guess is the credit card issue.
Yeah, but that was with my other credit card. Yeah, that was with my American Express card. It got absolutely it got whatever they call it, cloned or whatever at the airport. Yep. Yeah, it got skimmed at the airport, which was annoying. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna be running with my credit cards this weekend. Awesome, great, no cash needed. OSU from Jamie. Favorite LA places. I've been to LA once. It was for EA Play last year, and basically for EA Play last year, we were in our Airbnb and at EA Play. So out of those two, it was the Airbnb definitely because it had a bed. First season Super Bowl favorite for MBL. First season being next cycle. Would not know until we actually. I'm gonna go with Bomber or Lip because I know what teams they're gonna take.
I was gonna say Lions and Steelers.
There you go. Bomber saying Patriots will crumble in CFM because of age. Lip, that's an interesting point because this Patriots team, for a long time you stayed away from them because Tom Brady retired in the first 2 years. Now they fixed that bug. Brady sticks around for a while, but yeah, they've got some age problems on that Patriots team. They're not sort of the young, talented team we saw maybe a couple years ago.
I'm guessing from distant memory, but I do believe they lost their Solder, their tackle, and Cooks. So outside of that, there's not really a whole lot. Their defensive line is not exciting. They have a middle linebacker and they have a safety. The corners, though, it all depends on how next Madden plays with these teams that kind of got some older players. So, but still, they are really old and do not have a whole lot of bright spots in youth players. And you always have to, worry about replacing the quarterback. Like I said, next man might play entirely different. So we'll see. Maybe some of those older players can last a little bit longer.
Cringe in the chat saying best football movie. I'm gonna. Well, okay. Let's go with. Lip, do you have a favorite sports movie in general? Is there a movie you go to as your top sports movie?
I mean, I always liked.
Just say The Miracle.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say. I always liked Friday Night Lights whenever I was playing high school football, but then ever since that kind of the emotional fun of that fell away, definitely the Miracle.
Miracle?
Absolutely. I mean, hockey in general is amazing. So I don't care what any of you say.
I love hockey. I think baseball comes out with the best movies. As Sonny Weaver, I assume, swings and a miss on that right outside linebacker, right? He's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm drafting for need right now. I got to fill out a roster.
That's fair. Tough but fair. I always think baseball has the best movies. I'm a big fan of a lot of baseball. The Natural is a great movie. Robert Redford, love that one. Cringe saying Coach Carter. Coach Carter is a great movie. I love Coach Carter. Moneyball I haven't seen. JY saying Little Giants. I love Little Giants. Shout out to Rick Moranis. Remember the Titans is great. Space Jam. I watched Space Jam back, Sonny. That movie does not hold up.
No, it's horrible. I saw it the other day.
I mean, I love it from a nostalgic standpoint, but it does not hold up.
Is Major League a sports movie?
Yes, it is.
A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own. One of my favorites. One of the funniest movies I've watched. Love Tom Hanks. Rookie of the Year, underrated movie, Draco. Love that movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly
I have a question. Is that the movie where, what's the movie? He's a Cubs player. He's a little kid. He breaks his arm, and whenever is that movie?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
Really good. Henry Rowengarter. Yeah, he breaks his shoulder and he gets a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It's amazing. Well, I'm trying to think of what the other one was. There's another one where a kid, the grandfather of a kid, owned the Minnesota Twins, and he dies, and so then the kid owns the Twins and then makes himself manager. Those are the two movies that I watched a lot as a kid. Happy Gilmore is great. Waterboy, I watched Waterboy back, Sonny. I don't know if you're an Adam Sandler guy. I watched Waterboy back. That movie is garbage.
Sandlot.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's garbage. No, it's hot garbage.
No. Angels in the Outfield. Angels in the Outfield?
Angels in the Outfield and Angels in the End Zone I like. Sandlot, I mean, you gotta love the Sandlot, right?
Sandlot, amazing. Sandlot 2, hot poop.
Yeah, doo-doo. The Oakland Athletics movie, DB, is Moneyball. I haven't seen it. Man, a lot of sports movies. I love Happy Gilmore does hold up. ESPN saying Little Giants. Little Giants is great. Last Boy Scout, not sure if that's a movie. Just not convinced that is. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Oh, wait. Rocky 4. You either love Rocky 4 or you hate Rocky 4 because it's totally a propaganda film. However, it's got a great soundtrack.
Is 4 Dolph Lundgren?
Yes.
Yeah, 4's good. Mighty Ducks 1, 2, but not 3. I'll go the other way. I like 3. A lot of people don't like Mighty Ducks 3, where they're in college and Gordon Bombay's not around. I like 3, and I like 2. I don't like 1 that much.
Interesting.
I like the Iceland team. I love the Iceland team. Little Fish says never seen Rocky, or any of the Rockies. Sonny,
remove him
get
from the chat,
Sonny,
please.
get him.
Get out, Little Fish. Get out.
White Man Can't Jump. Never seen that one. Little Big League is the Twins movie. Yes, thank you, JY. Yes, Little Big League and Rookie of the Year. Definitely interchangeable. 100%. By the way, did you guys see they had the Sandlot team get back together, the cast, except for the Jet, and they have not aged. Except for the fat kid. He has aged. Sorry. But everyone else looks pretty much identical. Bomber says Rocky's the best. Lip does not surprise me at all that Bomber loves Rocky.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a fun movie. Fun pick.
Oh, hey, I got Lips pick here. I can put that up.
Wait, so go ahead and just anybody who's not seen Rocky, skip 5. Rocky 5 is not worth your time. Just throwing that out there.
Which one's 5?
That's the one where Tommy guns and Rocky never actually fights, other than a street fight.
Do you like Creed? Did you like the movie Creed?
I thought it was all right.
All right, let's take a look at Lips pick. In the first, he got.
Oh baby, Stafford got some protection.
You're the worst. You're the worst. 90 strength, 81 run block, 79 pass block, and superstar dev. Because why not? 6'7", 333. This guy is massive.
Big boy.
Sonny, your thoughts?
He's a big guy. He's a strong guy. That's what I got. That's it. That's it.
You get here.
I don't want to give Lip too much credit. So I mean, 57 awareness. Okay.
Hey, I had to use some incredible discipline to select a position that I needed. Not a flashy position, but one that I needed badly because Stafford just got that crap beat out of him last year. Every 2 games, Bomber would message me like, "Dad, what are you doing to Stafford? He's getting killed out there. You let up this many sacks."
That's
I'm
a
like,
top-notch impression, by the way.
I know.
That's what I heard. Hey, don't miss your pick. Sonny, I am surprised that nobody in the Sports Movie Talk listed Air Bud, one of the greatest movies of all time. Because it doesn't say in the rule book you can't play a dog.
Well, I was just gonna say if the qualifier was it had to be human, that would obviously be out.
That's fair.
Dogs are human.
Lip going offensive line again, sure. This time I don't care if you see Bomber's draft board because it's pretty. Wow, that's a lot of red. That's a lot of red. Stops at the first green. Red. Up, another green. He clearly likes the safeties. Up, a defensive tackle. Nope, not going there. Running out of picks. This is Bomber Draft Watch 2018. Season 32. Oh, he's down to 4th-round picks. Sanchez Torber. What a name. Seriously, how do they get these names up? Riley Printers?
Riley Printers. He was a heck of a student at the college that he went to.
Love. Shout out to that university.
The Pitt University.
Can't just put the before everything. Not how it works. As we are.
That's not how any of this works.
That's not how any. He's going with this undrafted safety. JY in the chat saying Bomber is trash at scouting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go.
Bomber said you were trash at playing, JY, so it's okay.
Hashtag got him. This is some suspense here.
It's gonna end
Guys,
in
favorite Disney movie?
Trick question.
Animated.
Still
Disney
remember the Titans.
Oh.
Shout out to Remember the Titans. Randall. He went with Randall Powell. He reached. 86 strength, 75 block shed.
Oh man, he's way too light. 287.
282. Whew. I got defensive ends bigger than that guy.
Yeah, but combined with Gianni Slade, that's like 900 pounds, right?
Slade weighs, he's up to 660 now.
Yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, that's a good one, too.
A reminder, folks, hit that follow button so you know when we can go live. We'll be doing some live streams from EA Play, answering your questions about the Madden 19 game coming out. One of the things that got announced that I'm actually most excited for is this Push the Pile, the feature that you're going to get. I'm not really sure how it's going to work. I'm excited to test it out, but I'm excited for it because they're building this as an ability to steer your lineman. And I can tell you there's nothing more frustrating than seeing a hole and having one of those big fat fatties in your way and just getting stuck on him, especially downfield. I feel like this could be something, if it's done right, could be a really nice addition to the Madden 19 game.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing is that some people, passing's doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. I don't know how else to say that. But I think that running this Madden, it changed a little bit, but for previous Maddens, running was it was just kind of stale, and it seemed like a lot of players were pretty similar. But this Madden, we really saw star halfbacks with good offensive lines really just explode. And I think that if you add this new element to it, I think it's going to make running extremely important, and it's going to allow offenses to run the ball a lot better and mix it up to where defenses are not going to just be able to play the pass all the time. Because there's a lot of defenses that come out and they guess pass all the time. I think with more running mechanics, the way the running gets better, that's going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of defenses.
Well, it's combined. You've got push the pile, you've got the one cut feature that they're rolling out. So I think running's going to be big next year. I think teams that really want to go a heavy dose of running are going to find a lot of success, especially early next year, because it seems that every year it takes a season or so to get used to passing. So running, I think, will be dominant in year one.
Let's take a look at some more screenshots coming in throughout this first couple rounds of the MBL Season 32 Rookie Draft here on the MBL Network. This one coming in from New Orleans. They go halfback with Devontae Christian out of Notre Dame, 6'1", 215. 88 speed, 87 excel, 90 carrying, 86 ball carry vision, 85 juke move. Sonny, a guy that nothing particularly stands out. He's got a nice juke move. Speed's not great, but he's sure-handed. Is Tevin Coleman still out in New Orleans, or is this the replacement for Tevin Coleman?
Coleman's gone, so this is the replacement out there.
I don't like that at all.
And I think he'll be all right. 90 carrying for a rookie is pretty good, so he'll at least be sure-handed. I'd like to see maybe his strength. I like the running backs at about 75, 76 plus strength. So if he's there and he's got the elusiveness maybe in the low 80s, I feel pretty good about it.
And let's go to New York. Owner Fish with a late pick at number 22. He goes cornerback in Perry Rice Lip. 91 speed, 90 excel, 79 man, 80 zone, 90 agility. This could be a guy. He's listed as a zone type, and I think that's mostly because his zone is just slightly higher than his man coverage. But with 90 agility and 91 speed, this could be a guy who's going to be able to keep up both in man and in zone. And we've seen some wide receivers go out to the NFC East. We know that it's a very pass-heavy division. This is a nice pickup for New York, a team that I think surprised everybody last year as to how good they were.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to go, because I think that Davis Webb is leading a great offense in New York, and now that they have a good offense, I mean they have Webb, Petway, OBJ, Evan Ingram, Ben Stokes still very good, and still Sterling Shepard. We've seen him play on NBL Live very well. So you look at the offense; it's really good. It's in the top 10 and everything, and on defense they are 26th against the pass. 14th in points, which is still pretty good, but 26 against the pass in passing yards. That pick right there really is going to lock that up, and that's going to push them further into the playoffs, in my opinion.
Sonny, who do you like in that division? Are the Giants going to hang on to that one with Davis Webb in that offense, or is there going to be somebody else coming up to take that NFC East?
I'll take the Giants until proven otherwise. The Redskins came on late last year, but once you've thrown that many interceptions, like what we saw last year, it was kind of a scary situation. So I'm not sure I would be banking on them. And then Dallas has got their own set of issues, and then we all know about the Eagles. So I'm going to take the Giants until somebody says differently.
As I pull up another one of these screenshot folks, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Season 32 NBL Rookie Draft here on the NBL Network. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man Lip and my less so man Sonny, my Boulder friend, the Chrome Dome of the NBL. Sonny,
that's brutal. Me and Bomber have the same amount of hair. I just choose to cut mine a little bit shorter.
Yeah, but Bomber doesn't show his face. You do. That's the downside of highly debatable. I'm sorry, highly debatable. Highly debatable. I apologize. But Sonny, as we get into Madden 19, what are you most looking for in the new game? When you take this game out of the proverbial box that nobody has anymore, and we actually just play from a digital copy, what are the first things you notice about a new game, and what are the things that you're going to be looking to test out early?
Well, I like to see what defense feels like. So, early on, I like to actually be on the defensive side and see what things are working against me, what aren't working against me, kind of get a feel for what I'm going to have to worry about throughout the cycle. And then obviously, I like to look at some of the other features, what's going on as far as, the draft and different things and the free agency and, did we get anything new? But, for me, I always just like to see what the defense is because I think the defense really dictates a lot of how the offenses are going to play.
Porter says to check your DM, Lip.
Well, if Porter would just pay attention, not only did I answer him almost immediately, I also told him in the chat that he told me to check the DM. I told him that I got him.
So what you're saying is, Porter, shut your face.
He was too busy unpacking or unloading those 3 boxes that came from UPS today.
Let's take a look at another screenshot. This is a team who finally got over that hump, got to the playoffs. It was a short stint in the playoffs, but a lot looking good in Kansas City. I know owner Draco looking to improve upon this year in the last season here in Madden 18. He goes center at number 21, or excuse me, number 20. And he got a real nice piece here. Superstar dev, 86 strength, 83 run block, 81 pass block, 89 impact. Sonny, out of everybody, I know you're the most who harps on strength, especially on the interior of the offensive line. Is 86 too low for you for a center? Is that in a good place that Draco can develop this guy with that superstar dev?
Yeah, I think 85 strength is where I like to be with most of my linemen. And so, 86, you're there. Good impact blocking. There's a lot of plays in Madden where the center does pull, so you'll get him out there and get some blocking for him. 83, 81 run and pass block. Good stuff. I mean, I like the guy. I think he's going to do well for him. And, the thing is this year in Madden, obviously, they added the awareness, the line awareness as a unit. And so the center is supposed to have the highest awareness. That could be a little bit of an issue, though, because this guy's only 69. So early on, you may even consider playing him at guard and switching him back once you get the awareness up a little bit.
Hey, it's the Raiders pick. Hey, Lip, what do you think about this guy in Kansas City?
Well, I think that Sonny actually has oh God, I have to say this. Sonny actually has a pretty decent play there at moving this guy to guard just while you get that awareness up. But he's superstar. You should be able to get that up to somewhere between 75 and 80 before the season starts if you just plug into that. So he should be good by the time the season starts. But if he's not, I actually would recommend going with Sonny's plan. That is the first time in 30-some seasons, 31, 32 seasons that I've said that.
JP in the chat saying, in terms of most cap space, we had a question of who had the most cap space going into Madden 19. Browns, Colts, Niners, Titans, and Texans. Sonny, I think when you look at those teams, out of those 5, I think 3 of them you're really happy with, 4 you're okay with, and there's the Colts.
Right. There's the Colts. I think some of the issues across that line right there. Actually, the Browns just signed Duke Johnson as of today to a
what was that? Can somebody answer that for me? Go ahead. Why? I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with that.
Oh, you don't like the Duke Johnson signing? Well,
no.
They paid him. They paid him well. So I think, he's going to be locked into whatever the person's plans that are going out to Cleveland next cycle. And they're going to have to pay a couple other players here coming up soon. We'll see how that goes. But Houston, I like Houston. I think Houston's got a lot going for them. They've got some good young players out there. Obviously, Deshaun Watson will probably be very highly rated this year. The team there that I don't think I like maybe as much as other people probably do is San Francisco.
Yeah, that was the fourth on my list.
The reason being is Jimmy Garoppolo's contract is insane.
Oh, no.
And even if Jimmy Garoppolo's contract was the contract that, Aaron Rodgers, some of these other guys in the game would have, I don't like expensive quarterback contracts because the reality is the contracts that players sign inside of Madden, even the top quarterbacks, are much lower than the real life contract. So if you come in with a high quarterback contract, you end up getting screwed on the cap. So I don't like quarterbacks or teams, for that matter, with high quarterback contracts.
Yeah, I think out of those, Tennessee, I don't know. Sonny, you took Tennessee to start this cycle. Not a whole lot of personnel changes out there. A lot of cap space. What was your experience with the Titans? Did you like playing around with them? How was it as a market and connection franchise?
Yeah, it went well. Market was good. Didn't really have any issues with funds or anything like that. You know, really, the thing that's interesting is they cut DeMarco Murray. They bring in Deion Lewis, so you still got the 1-2 running back, but now you've got a little bit difference between your main running back and your kind of scat back. So I actually like that a lot, what they did there. I think they brought in Malcolm Butler to pair with Logan Ryan and Adoree Jackson. Is that right?
I believe so.
That is incredible.
So they've really done a good job. I like what they're doing here. You figure you've still got some good young wide receivers in Tennessee, and Mariota will be pretty decent. So overall, I like it.
We're going to wind down here on the MBL Network through the Season 32 MBL Rookie Draft. If you have any final questions, post them in the chat. I will pose one more to you guys, and then we will get out of here at a tight hour and a half here on the MBL Network. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Lip, for you, as we head into the last season of this cycle, you know, looking back, when you look back at Madden 18, what are sort of the things that stand out for you from a league perspective? We've had a lot that's gone on here, a lot of cool storylines, new faces, old faces. What sort of stood out from you from Madden 18?
I always look at it from how our league just grows and the steps that we take and the things that we do together. Those are always really interesting to see and watch this community be together and really be a family. And the other thing, as far as Madden, one of the greatest things that I got to see this cycle was that two people, one no longer with us, Hop and Star went into tough divisions and they battled it out for several seasons and were able to win MBL championships. And that leads into the third thing. 6 different champions so far in 6 seasons is really an impressive thing.
Parity.
You can't talk about it enough how impressive that is, because there's always early season favorites, and it's a handful of people, and then every year a couple of teams have come out of nowhere, knocked off some of the favorites, and different champions has been crowned each season, which really speaks to the depth and the variety that we have in this league, and the ability for anybody to win a championship. Anybody can get hot and take home that MBL title, which was really amazing to see.
Yeah, I think 6 different champs is wild. I think from the network perspective, I think it's been, we looked at Madden. I like to think of Madden 17 as the sort of the network's birth in its current form. It was definitely a year of ramping up. We saw more broadcasts than we'd ever done before. We sort of found our groove as to what we were doing on MBL Live and with our other programmings. And I like to look at Madden 18 up from a network perspective as sort of the year of innovation. We've seen a lot of interesting things happen on the network. New shows. MBL Live has taken a lot of different forms in terms of the graphics that it has, to the production quality, to the different things that we do on our live programming, both on especially Commissioner Corner, building the franchise, the way that has developed. Highly debatable to become the first live video debate show. From a network perspective, I know, Sonny, you've been a part of a lot of it. It's been, I think this cycle has been sort of a year of testing a lot of things out and seeing what works. And as we go into Madden 19 with a new game, I think as a network as a whole, we've gained a lot of skills here that I think we're going to be able to put on even better broadcasts as we go through the new cycle.
Oh, well, for sure. And we've picked up some people along the way that possess some new and interesting skills as well. So that'll see, we'll see how those develop throughout kind of the next run. And I'm excited for what else we'll be doing as far as new things. I always like to try to see what we can do, what's different, what we can push the envelope with. We may be just doing something new and fun this summer.
Yeah.
It could be big. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. So, a lot of cool stuff happening, and as always, as we see what Madden has to offer, we'll come up with new things to offer you guys, the viewers.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, folks. We hope you hit that follow button so you know each and every time we go live with any of our shows. We're doing a lot of stuff here on Twitch. that we hope you'll be a part of. But it's been a fun night here on the MBL Network talking about the Season 32 Rookie Draft, the final rookie draft of this cycle. We're going to get out of here, let you guys enjoy the rest of the evening. Showstopper 87, so you broadcaster A1. Appreciate the love. You definitely rivals ultimately. I really appreciate the love from everybody in the chat who talks about MBL live and spreads the word. We love to see new faces here. Love to see new people in the chat. We're going to get out of here. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday as we head into Season 32. For my co-host, Sonny Weaver, and the co-commish of the MBL, Lip, I am OSU. We hope you have a wonderful night, and we hope we will see you throughout the season on all of our MBL Network programming and right here on twitch.tv/MBL Network. Have a wonderful night, folks. And be sure to have some fun with that stuff that's coming out at EA Play. Should be some great information coming out. All right, have a good night.